The squirrel is a lively rodent with bushy tails, found rather widely across the Eurasian region. Although it is nowadays mostly seen as a charming little creature that stores food in its winter stash during the autumn, it has historically played a significant role in Finnish folklore and mythology. The squirrel has simultaneously been sacred, practical, and symbolically multi-layered, its meaning ranging from food source to currency and even to mythical messenger. The word orava is believed to originate from the Proto-Uralic word ora, which may have also been referred to a tree. The word oravainen, also known as oravas, was used in the 16th century in the districts of Savo and Lappe as a dry goods volume measure. Its size was 1/3 of a carpia, or approximately 15.2 liters. The squirrel itself lacks a specific creation story in ancient Finnish lore, but it is mentioned in the myth of the origin of beer. According to the tale, the goddess Osmotar wanted to brew the first beer. She rubbed her hands together, and animals such as the squirrel, fox, and marten were created. Osmotar sent them to fetch ingredients for beer making. They brought sweet grass, pine cones, and honey, but the beer did not start to ferment. Osmotar then instructed her assistant to collect the saliva of 2 battling beasts. The animals returned with bear saliva, which finally caused the beer to ferment. Although the squirrel lacks its own origin myth, it still had a designated creator. In Finnish pre-Christian belief, many animals had their own emu, a kind of primal ancestor or mother figure. The emu created or gave birth to the creature and was responsible for its behavior and care. The squirrel's emu is named Nyrkes, Nyrikki, or Tyytikki. Nyrikki was believed to be the child of Tapio, the forest god, and served as the guardian of small game. Clad in squirrel skins, Nyrikki moved invisibly through the forest. Hunters would pray to Nyrikki for protection and luck in hunting. When in a generous mood, Nyrikki would guide squirrels into the hunter's path. In 1551, Mikael Agricola wrote in his list of Finnish pagan gods, Nyrikki gave squirrels from the forest. In ancient Finland, squirrels were hunted either for their meat or their pelts. In eastern Finland, squirrel meat was dried and used to make soup up until the early 1900s. Squirrel pelts were used as currency. In fact, the Finnish word raha originates from oravan nahka, the squirrel skin, which was used for paying taxes and trade. The pelts had a defined value and were sold in bundles. Hunting squirrels in autumn was only allowed once their fur had turned grey enough so that the inside of the pelt did not darken when skinned. The squirrel even had its own special day, October 21st, marking the beginning of squirrel pelt hunting season. Today, squirrel hunting, which is prohibited in urban areas, takes place between December and February. However, squirrels are no longer hunted for their fur. The word oravannahka now survives in Finnish idioms as a symbol of wealth. Squirrels also had a mythical significance in ancient Finnish beliefs. Seeing a squirrel could be either a good or a bad omen. If one appeared in the yard, it might predict death, war, frost, or famine. If a squirrel was spotted before entering the forest, it meant that no good berry-picking spot would be found that day. On the other hand, in traditional wedding poems, the squirrel's agility was used to praise the bride's skillfulness in handicrafts. The flying squirrel, a member of the squirrel family, was called pirun orava. In Heikki Lehikoinen's book Ole siviä, sikanen, he notes, the classification of animals can be found in the Bible, in the books of Moses, where animals are divided into clean and unclean kinds. Clean animals were those, like birds, that were meant to fly in the sky. If an animal defies these modes of movement, it is an abomination and must not be eaten. The flying squirrel was seen as an abomination because it climbed trees like a squirrel but glided like a bird. The squirrel was also valuable to shamans. It could be used as a helper animal that moved between different worlds, delivering messages. It was said to climb a red thread leading into the heavens. Squirrels appear in Finnish sayings and proverbs as well. The term oravanpyörä refers to a person's hectic, endless cycle they can't escape, a reference to a squirrel running in a wheel. Today, keeping squirrels in cages is no longer permitted. Another popular phrase is vituttaa kuin pientä oravaa, used to express frustration because of course even squirrels get annoyed when cones are frozen or someone steps on their tail. So the squirrel is far more than a fluffy-tailed hoarder of pine cones. It's a true multitasker, sometimes currency, sometimes omen, and sometimes just a grumpy little beast. It has leapt straight into Finnish folklore and stayed there, tail and all.